Yo, what's up, guys? Teacher Paul over here, and today we have a coffee request. If you want to request a video, click over here or go on to Buy Me a Coffee. Link is in the description. And thank you guys so much for your support. Today's coffee request comes from Cecilia, and Cecilia is in the Christmas spirit. So Cecilia says, "Hi, Paul. So in Denmark, we had this very popular writer, H.C. Andersen. He got pretty popular outside of Denmark too, with stories like The Little Mermaid." Oh, I knew The Little Mermaid was Danish, right? Well, I think I knew. I had read somewhere, especially because lately The Little Mermaid was like in a few controversies, and also they had like the live action movie, and yeah, a lot of things that people were trying to bring the origin to it. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it was something that was recently brought up. So I think that's where I discovered that it was Danish. The Emperor's New Clothes and the Ugly Duckling. Wow, dang, that's nice. Didn't know those were Danish. But one of my favorites is Den Lille Pige med Svovlstickerne. I'm really bad at Danish. The only word that came to my mind right now was, oh man, I don't know if I should say this. I don't want you guys to hate me, but the only word I was trying to read Danish, and then the word cameloso came to mind. And I know that's not Danish, but sorry, I had to. In English, it's called The Little Match Girl. It is a Christmas story which have left many Nordic children in tears. Okay, so let's check this out. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's go.
It was terribly cold and nearly dark on the last evening of the old year, and the snow was falling fast. In the cold and the darkness, a poor little girl with bare head and naked feet roamed through the streets. It is true that she had a pair of slippers when she left home, but they were not of much use.
By the way, I don't want to forget, I just want to give a shout out to the channel, the Little Lamp Lighters. Okay, Little Lamp Lighters. That's the channel that uploaded this video. Let's go.
They were very large, so large indeed.
Welcome to membership.
And the poor little creature had lost them in running across the street to avoid two carriages that were rolling along at a terrible rate.
Wow.
One of the slippers she could not find, and the boy seized upon the other and ran away with it, saying that he could use it as a cradle when he had children of his own.
Thank you so much.
So the little girl went on with her little naked feet, which were quite red and blue with the cold. In an old apron she carried a number of matches, and had a bundle of them in her hands. No one had bought anything from her the whole day. Nor
this is the full story?
Even a penny. Shivering with cold and hunger, she crept along. Poor little child. She looked a picture of misery. The snowflakes fell on her long fair hair, which hung in curls on her shoulders, but she regarded them not. Lights were shining from every window, and there was a savoury smell of roast goose, for it was New Year's Eve. Yes, she remembered that. In a corner between two houses, one of which projected beyond the other, she sank down and huddled herself together. She had drawn her little feet under her, but she could not keep off the cold, and she dared not go home, for she had sold no matches. I could not take home even a penny. Her little hands were almost frozen with the cold. Perhaps a burning match might be some good, if she could draw it from the bundle and strike it against the wall just to warm her fingers. She drew one out. Scratch! How it sputtered as it burnt. It gave a warm, bright light, like a little candle. It was really a wonderful light. It seemed to the little girl that she was sitting by a large iron stove. How the fire burned and seemed so beautifully warm that the child stretched out her feet as if to warm them. When the flame of the match went out,
Aww.
the stove vanished, and she had only the remains of the half-burnt match in her hand. She rubbed another match on the wall. It burst into a flame, and where its light fell upon the wall, it became as transparent as a veil, and she could see into the room. The table was covered with a snowy white tablecloth, on which stood a splendid dinner service and steaming roast goose stuffed with apples and dried plums. And what was still more splendid, the goose jumped down from the dish and waddled across the floor with a knife and fork in its breast to the little girl, ready to be eaten. Then the match went out, and there remained nothing but the thick, damp, cold wool before her. She lit another match.
This is sad.
And then she found herself sitting under a beautiful Christmas tree. It was larger and more beautifully decorated than the one which she had seen through the glass door at the rich merchant's. Thousands of candles were burning upon the green branches. The Christmas lights rose higher and higher, till they looked to her like the stars in the sky. Then she saw a star fall, leaving behind it a bright streak of fire.
Someone is dying,
thought the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only one who had ever loved her and who was now dead, had told her that when a star falls, a soul
Did they
was
need
going up
to
God.
mention that is now dead?
She again rubbed a match on the wall, and the light shone round her. In the brightness stood her old grandmother, clear and shining, yet mild and loving in her appearance.
Grandmother, oh, take me with you. I know you'll go away when the match burns out. I know you'll vanish like the warm stuff, the roast goose, and the large, glorious Christmas tree.
And she made haste to light the whole bundle of matches, for she wished to keep her grandmother there. And the matches glowed with a light that was brighter than the noonday, and her grandmother had never appeared so large or so beautiful.
Oh, wow.
She took the little girl in her arms,
No.
and they both flew upwards in brightness and joy, far above the earth, where there was neither cold, nor hunger, nor pain, for they were with God. On the dawn of the morning, there lay the poor little one, with pale cheeks and smiling mouth. She had been frozen to death on the last evening of the year, and the New Year's sun rose and shone upon a little corpse. The child still sat in the stiffness of death, holding the matches in her hand, one bundle of which was burnt. Poor thing, she tried to warm herself, said some. No one imagined what beautiful things she had seen, or into what glory she had entered with her grandmother on New Year's Day.
Pedro de la Puente, Tom Candia, and Kayat. Okay. That's a beautiful story, sad story at the same time. What? I don't know how to feel about this Christmas story, because Cecilia just told me that they tell this to children. And honestly, I have noticed that Scandinavian Christmas is a little bit darker than normal. Well, not normal, because, every place considers their stuff normal. But I'll say traditional Christmas movies. I've reacted to a few Christmas movies, and the first one was a horror comedy. The second one was kind of like a ghost story type of haunted house thing, The third one was okay, like more traditional, but they all had this dark humor to it. In the last movie that I watched, the kids were like, burning Santa alive or something like that. But it feels like Scandinavian Christmas has a little touch of darkness to it. I don't know. It feels like it's a little bit towards the horror side of it. Which hey, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying the kids, man. But it's not only Scandinavian Christmas. We've seen this in so many other tales, especially the lullabies. Lullabies are scary, you know, especially if you pay attention to it. I don't know why, but there is something dark about it. There have been quite a few discussions on whether this is a happy ending or not. I think Christmas is not as Disney like in the Nordic. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not Disney like. The elves is historically more mean. Yeah, the movie that I watched, There's Something in the Barn. You could see that they were straight up burning and impaling people. It's like, dang. I've never heard an English version, but I recognize it immediately, and I just came in. Okay, welcome, Adek. I haven't heard this since school. Guys, do children feel happy or sad? Do they smile or cry when they listen to this? I would genuinely want to know. Um, as Cecilia said, there's a discussion. Is this a happy ending or a sad ending? Um, Man, okay, if you're being pessimistic, you think, what else did the kid have to live for? She's gonna live a homeless and poor life with her family not being present. What does she have to live for? Then, yeah, she died and she went into, her grandmother's arms and lived happily ever after. Then you guess, kind of like that's a happy ending if you think that way. But if you're optimistic and you think, no, she could have lived a long life and she would have been happy and this and that, then you think this is a sad ending. Um, so I think it depends on your point of view. To me, it's a shocking ending. It's a sad ending to me because I feel like no kid should die in the cold, and no kid should be living in these poor conditions. So I feel like it's a sad ending. I don't think I would be. Thank you, Kadi, for the coffee request. I don't think I would be telling this to my children if I ever have children, um, unless I want to scare them and tell them. I don't know, but this is a poetic ending, like Romeo and Juliet. Was that a happy ending? Was that a sad ending? It's poetic. I think this is poetic. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and yeah, let me know if you're crying like Cecilia. But it is a story. I've never been able to read or listen to this story without crying. Yeah, for me, it was more of the shock factor. I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought it was going to be like a happier ending. But for me, it was like more shocking than sad. But let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments down below. Don't forget, if you want to go and request a video like Cecilia did, before we even finish the video, this is the type of the video that I absolutely love to make and to watch, obviously. But I've never been good at storytelling. But I've always wanted and tried to narrate and do storytelling and read storybooks. So I love this video, and I really respect the person who did this for, doing it a good way. I've tried it before. I've tried reading books and storytelling. I'm not very good at that skill, but very good and very nicely narrated. And I love this. I love the fact that the BGM also, the video was very well made. Now, in terms of the story, I told you my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments. If you want to request a video, go over here or click over here and go over here for more of my Nordic Christmas reactions. Take care for now. Bye-bye.